Hey, so the other, no, chip, sorry. You don't have to see this. I don't know, I can bathe in that. I won't. Guys, no one panic, but I think I've lost the cocoa powder. You can not. Gorge, 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 gorge. I like them big. That sounded weird. I'm so happy with that. Hey, welcome back to my channel. So I've made cookies with my sister before. She kind of taught me how to do them, but I'm gonna do my own little take on it. I've done a little bit of recipe testing, but today's pretty much on the fly. I kind of know what texture I want, what flavorings I kind of want. So let's give this a go now. It is my double choc chip, Let's give this a go now. It's my double choc chip cookie that's a little bit salted as well. So a little bit of fun. Not for the faint-hearted, obviously, because it's double chocolate. There is a little bit of sugar in this, and by a little bit, I mean a lot. So first up, I've got a glass bowl, because we are placing this in the microwave. We want some chocolate. So I've got two types of chocolate here. I've got a 45% dark, and I've got a 70% dark. The 70% dark, I'm gonna use to actually place on top as your little choc bits, but the 45%, that's going into the dough itself. Now, to make a chocolate dough doughy and chocolatey and all those deliciousness, you're gonna have to melt it. So we're gonna chop this guy roughly. Roughly chop the chocolate up. So we've got 200 grams of the semi-dark, so that's the 45% dark chocolate. I do love my dark chocolate. The 70 is heaven. That's the kind of chocolate that I like to eat. Yeah, 200 grams of that. And we're gonna do 100 grams of butter into it. All right, so had a little bit of measurement issues, but that's 100 grams of butter. We're gonna save that. I'm gonna have to make another batch of these cookies because I've already used it. So 100 grams of butter. This is all gonna go into the microwave in 30-second bursts for about a minute and a half, depending on the strength of your microwave. What you wanna do is get that that chocolate and that butter all melted beautifully. Okay, so chocolate and butter have melted, as you can see. I'm just gonna mix that through so it gets nice and, I hate this word, but emulsified, as in the butter and the chocolate kind of join together, become smooth. As you can see, there's still fat from the butter sitting on top. You just want to give that a nice mix through. You don't want this too hot, you just want it to be melted. So with chocolate, if you do heat it too much, it can seize. Which means that it kind of becomes dry and all the liquid in it like evaporates and it just stick together. So we've got some brown sugar, 75. I know right now this is all just sugar and chocolate, but there's other ingredients that are gonna go in. So 75. Brown sugar has a really nice molassesy flavor to it, which works really well in cookies. In goes some raw sugar. Another 75, so that makes 150 of sugar all up. Obviously raw sugar isn't crazy as sweet as the plain sugar, but still yum. That gives it a nice crunch. The raw sugar doesn't seem to break down as much, so it gives it a nice texture. Little whiskey whisk. Heaven. Yum. I love the smell of raw sugar as well. So we've got that, it's all in. Realized I'm probably gonna have to use the bigger bowl. That's all going in here. That's your wet ingredients. I'm actually using a mixture of plain and self-raising. I like my cookies chewy, quite chewy. I like it when they're I don't know, almost to the point of, you know when you get cookies and they're actually that thick? They're like thicker and they're harder, and it's the ones that you buy at like good quality cafes and bakehouses. That's what I like. I don't like it when they're too flat, so I'm gonna try and make this guy a little bit thicker, which means I need him to rise as well. So you're gonna want 50 of the self-raising. Plain flour, I want 75. As you can see, there's a little bit higher ratio of plain flour to self-raising. That's fine. We're gonna do some of the cocoa, which I have no idea where I've put. All right, cocoa. Where did I put the cocoa? Guys, no one panic, but I think I've lost the cocoa powder. Let's not panic. Oh my God, there's no cocoa powder. No, I bought some. No, cocoa powder's in like a jar. I feel like I just held it as well. Ah. It's all right, we found the cocoa.
Here you go.
Thank you. You're gonna want some cocoa powder. This is new, I just bought it. That's why I was like, how can it be gone? I just bought it. I want 30 grams. Cool, 30 grams cocoa powder. We're done. This guy's finished. We've got some baking powder as well. Let's do 1, 2, 3. That's 1 teaspoon of baking powder. We want the rise. We definitely want the rise. We've got some bicarb here. Bicarb, I want just a quarter. No issues. So a quarter teaspoon of bicarb, 1 teaspoon of baking powder. This will help that kind of cookie become taller. It'll become bigger, it won't go flat, and it'll be chewy as well in the middle with the height, which is exactly what I want. Done. There's gonna be an egg that goes in, but that will be later. So into the mixture of the chocolate, butter, and sugar, you're gonna fold this guy in. You're gonna fold the dry ingredients in. So into that bowl, silicone spatula, fold. Circular motions. Don't worry if this looks very thick, because we're gonna add in our egg and our egg yolk. So what you're trying to do, or what I'm trying to do and achieve here, is to get everything really well made together into a little doughy ball where you can't see any of the powders left. It's fudgy. Like, I could probably just eat this the way it is, spoonfuls at a time. That's all done. 1 egg. Oh my God, it's so annoying. That is so annoying. Damn it. We'll clean that up in a second. I'll just finish this. 1 egg. 1 egg is on the ground. So the yolk goes in. This helps the cookie kind of become more doughy, more luxurious, we're adding fat, basically. We're adding a little bit of moisture through the white, but the yolk is fat. Obviously, you can do this in a stand mixer with a paddle if you want to, but a lot of us don't really have that. So I thought I'll do it without, so you can just see how it all comes together. 1 egg, 1 yolk. Let's just keep mixing that. Did you just get a shot of my ducks?
Look how they're looking at the egg. They're like, oh no, it died.
They're not duck eggs. So you guys just saw my little duck shoes. It gets really cold in this kitchen and I don't like socks, so I always have like little animal slippers. We all have them in the family. I've got panda ones somewhere as well, they're mine, but I think the duck ones are mum's. All right, so we've got a nice little mixture here of the cookie. That is it there. Now, the 70% dark chocolate. My bestie. Freaking love this. So, chop it up, get it chunky. The thicker chunks won't cook all the way through, and then you end up having like these amazing little gooey, chocolatey, bitter pieces that are just heaven. Not for the faint-hearted, even. Speak English, we're fine. You can't really see, but there's two mixtures. There's the pieces of chocolate and then the cookie dough. We're gonna fold that into each other. It's gonna be a little bit hard because I can't really see the differences, only a little bit, but we're gonna try and incorporate this as much as possible. Now, this recipe will make about probably 12 to 16 cookies, depending on how big you want them. I like them big. That sounded weird. An ice cream scoop. I'm gonna scoop some of this dough. Out it pops. 1. Scoop that dough. Out it pops. 2. 5. Oh, you moved. And the last one. 6. That one's a little bit smaller, but that's okay. Gonna give my hands a quick wash. Now, if you want this to really stand up tall and be like quite risen, the other thing that you can do is actually freeze these guys first, and it'll give you a nice, taller, harder cookie. I cannot be bothered doing that, which will probably be the reason why mine won't be as tall as I want them to be, but sometimes you just want cookies and you can't be bothered, right? Kind of, if you could actually see it from this angle, it looks like I've laid an egg and I'm like standing above it as if it's just fallen out. But it's cracked, which is quite sad. I'm sorry, Mr. Egg. Just so you know, I do have my oven preheated to 180 degrees. I should have said that earlier, didn't, but it's been preheating, it's fine. Salt flakes. And they're salt flakes, so don't be too scared of them because they're not as strong as table salt. These guys are done. If you freeze them, they cook more uniformly, they'll sit higher. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna pop them straight into the oven for 8 to 10 minutes. I'll check them at 8, and if I think they're perfect, I'll pull them out. Don't cook them for more than 10 minutes though, because, maybe even 11 minutes. If you cook them for too far, they'll just be crunchy, and they won't be soft in the center, they won't be chewy. You want that chew. This is going in. Got it? 1. 2 cookies, ha ha ha. It's been 8 minutes, 45 seconds. Oh, see how they're fat? Yeah, that's what you want. I'm actually gonna leave it for another minute. All right, that's another minute. Let's pull these guys out. Oh my God, why are these so sexy? These are so sexy. Nice. Okay. Yep. 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 These are good. These are good. That's 10 minutes. They're good to go. They're good to go. All right. These are my cookies. A little bit more sprinkling of salt, because why not? Heaven. Then we're gonna let them cool down for a little bit before we move them to the cooling rack, because if you move them now, they're just gonna fall apart. They're quite molten. See, they're really soft. They're really, really soft. So we need that sugar to harden. So we need to leave it for about 5 or so minutes until it cools down. All right. So I've got a chopstick because I want to test them. It actually hasn't really been 5 minutes, it's been like 3. But they feel pretty hard to me, which means I can probably move them. The tray's still pretty warm. There's going to be bits that are quite more molten than the other bits, obviously because of the chunkiness of the chocolate. I had these in for 10. They're pretty hard. They're kind of getting to the point of being real crunchy while they cool. But if you like your cookies a little bit crunchy on the outside, go for another minute, maybe 2 tops. This one's got chocolate stuck on the bottom of it, so lift and pull. Okay, so the inside should be fully molten. Oh, yum. Yeah, definitely another minute would have just gotten it all the way there, but I'm happy with this. Oh my God. Oh my God. Nice bit of crunch. Inside is gooey, chewy, and soft. Now, I want this in for another minute. So don't make the mistake that I have just made. They look good, you can't tell because they're dark, but they're not just there yet. Needed another minute. I wanted to eat them straight away, so I pulled them out of 10, but 11 would have been great. They're quite big, but they taste really yum, especially that piece of salt on top, because you get little bits of bitterness from the chocolate. You get a little bit nice saltiness from the salt, obviously. The nice sugar, it's freaking yum. If you want to see more recipes like this, obviously subscribe below and I'll try and get recipes up every week for you guys. Tell me what else you want to see, like the post, and I'll see you next time. Give these a go. They're absolutely delicious, but it needs 11 minutes. See ya. Oh my God. Okay, I know that we ended, but I wanted to cook it for that extra minute. I actually put it in for 90 seconds because it needed to heat back up. It's nice and crispy now, but obviously it came out hot and I didn't put it onto the baking tray, so when I pushed it on the cooling rack, the molten bit on the middle fell through. Disaster. Not really, but definitely leave it in for 11 minutes if they're this size because it needs it. They're perfect. They're absolutely perfect now. They're hard, and as they cool, they'll get harder, and then you're gonna get that nice chewy bit in the middle. So 11 minutes if it's this size. If it's smaller, 8 to 10, no problems. But yeah, so that's about it. Obviously things go wrong in the kitchen. As you can see today, I broke an egg and also this fell through. We're all good though. We're gonna move on, we're gonna shoot this, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye.